Thank you so much, everyone that's joined. This is a very exciting day. We are launching a new feature that's been in the works for, Kieran, how long has it been in the works for?
14, 15 months. I think it's been a long time, if not longer, from when we kind of first came up with the idea for the feature.
Yeah.
Well, 6 years ago, to be fair. But yeah.
This is our introduction to this, right? So, and if you can see here, we've had this on our wall since we started Hike. This is the European Search Awards in 2018. And if you can read it, it's highly amended, best software innovation. For the Webshed, this was our previous company before. We developed a feature, and it's called the Onsite Optimizer. And that's the feature 6 years later, we are launching today. Well, we are announcing today for Hike. So this new feature that we've been teasing is called the Onsite Optimizer. And it's a feature an idea that we had, well, 6 years ago, we got the award for it. But probably 7 years ago, we had the idea.
Yeah. It's been a long time, hasn't it?
That
we've been kind of toying with this, been waiting for Google to catch up, to allow us to kind of actually implement it and be confident in the results from it as well. So, and then from that, in terms of more recently, it's been something that we've been working on really for the last 14 months. It's took a lot of resource, but it's been a labor of love. And to be fair, what we've kind of created now is we're really excited to have it launched. And yes, from early feedback, a lot of people are really excited to see it launched as well. So
yeah. So I guess before we show you it and tell you exactly what it is, for those that haven't already tested it, so we'll start with the problem first, right? So what problem does this solve? What's this solution for? Now, you guys, most of you guys here will be users of Hike, or if not, you might be thinking about Hike, but you'll know roughly how it works, right? So you plug your website into Hike, you build a strategy, but ultimately what Hike does, which is different to other platforms, is it tells you what to do, right? So it tells you what changes to make to your website. So instead of giving you all the data, it converts it into actions that you need to complete. Now, what happens at the minute is you get the action, but you still need to do that on your website, right? So you need to open up the action, then you're like, right, now I need to open up the website. So you might open it in another tab or another window, log in. Hike will say you have to update a H1, a page title, an image or whatever it may be. You then have got to go into your CMS and you've got to figure out where to do it, and you've got to do it. Now, this process can be tricky sometimes. If anyone here has used a bad CMS platform,
yeah,
we've all used those.
Many in my time.
Yeah, right. Or maybe you're on WordPress and you've got a theme that makes it really tricky to make SEO changes. Then there's this friction and it's hard, right? And it takes a long time. And you guys are all busy, small businesses, right? Whether you're the owner, whether you're the marketer, whether you're the agency, you're all busy. And what you want to do is reduce time. Tell you what, sorry, I have to keep pausing to admit all these people in. But so we have developed a solution called the Onsite Optimizer that essentially solves that problem. What it's going to do, which I'm going to show you, do you mind just admitting these guys? Right?
Yeah.
What it's going to do is it's going to connect your website to the Hike platform. So moving forwards, if you decide to use this feature, it's completely optional. You will be able to make your changes without having to log into your website, right? You can connect your website to Hike and you can make your changes live in Hike or via the Hike platform without having to go through the back end of your website, or having to go for this. And it makes it super quick. And we bring in all of these great features from Hike into it to make it super quick. So yes, it is cool. It sounds great. We want to show you it. It's very exciting. It's going to be for everyone, right? So just a very quick one to kind of let you know. We have customers who are small businesses. You're going to have access to it. We have customers who are agencies that do SEO on behalf of their small business. You have access to it as well. And I was going to mention this at the end, but there's no increase in your price of subscription to use this. So this is all going to be included within your subscriptions. There's no additional price. So let me share my screen and start showing you, right? Because I think that's probably what you want to do. So yeah, agencies, white label, we'll go into more details, included for everybody. So let me share my screen. Let's do this. That'll do everything, right? Right. Still got more people joining. How do that? Okay. This is the Onsite Optimizer. This is the installation. So I'm not going to spend too long on this, but how it works, to get to the point where you can make changes on your website without having to log into your CMS, you have to connect Hike to the platform. And that's via a script, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Just by a small piece of JavaScript that you add into the head of every page of your website, like you do with Google Analytics or Tag Manager or anything like that. You install it in exactly the same way. and that's it. It's just copy and paste a tiny bit of code into the head of every page of your website.
Great. So we'll show you how we provide you guides on how to do it. Because we don't, obviously it sounds a bit overwhelming for some people, but when this launches next week, you'll have this Onsite Optimizer button in navigation. You click it, you'll go through to this. And because we know what platform you're on, right? So we've identified that this platform's on WordPress. We give you a guide on exactly how to do it on WordPress. If it was Wix, we'd give you a guide on how to do it in Wix. If it was Squarespace, et cetera, et cetera. And there's 3 ways that you can install it. You can install it via a plugin, like a plugin that we recommend. A little bit like, you know, how you have plugins to install your Google Analytics code or your Search Console code. It's a plugin that you can use to install this hike code. You can do it manually, or you can use Google Tag Manager. So there's different ways to do it. Once you've done that, you then click on the Onsite Optimizer, which takes you through to this screen here. Okay, and this is where you launch it. So this is the exciting stuff. I'm going to launch it from here. Okay, this one down. Okay, so here it is, right? So the website in Hike that we use in demo on is actually the Hike website. We thought, why not actually just show you how this works on the Hike website? Put our money where our mouth is, right? This is our main website. We're going to be updating it using the Onsite Optimizer during this demo. Please bear in mind, demos have a nasty habit sometimes.
Live demos.
So if something goes wrong, that's just, it's the laws of demos. But we're going to show you it. So this is what happens, right? You click on that and it's going to launch your website. And you might go, this is just my website. But if we have a look now, let me just move this out of the way. You can see you've got this overlay above it. And this is all your ability to update your website. So we're bringing Hike over your website. So you've got your website and we're just overlaying Hike on top of it. And what you can do, you can select between all your pages. So you can see here, got my home page, all of the pages that Hike's got. This little number here tells you how many actions you've got for the page. So just like at the moment in Hike, you go to your actions section and you go page by page, it shows you how many actions you've got. You can see here. So on this home page, I've got 4 actions. Now, where can I see those actions? By clicking this. Scroll out here, it tells me my actions that I need to complete. So I've got missing alt text directly on images. I've got missing meta description, and I need to select an extended SEO optimized page title. So it's like, okay, cool. Let's say I want to, I can close this. I can pin these so that I can see them even after I close this, and I can go through just a bit of kind of make it easier. But let's remove those. Cool. So I can see on my actions. If I click this, I can see the keywords I've assigned to this page. So I've got 2 keywords assigned to this page, DIY SEO software and DIY SEO. If I click up here, I can see all of my settings. So I can see my page title. I can see my meta description. It's empty, just like the action said. I can see what my canonical URL is, my meta robots, my JSON. What you'll notice is you can update all of these, right? As we go along, but let's go through that in a second. What you also get is you scroll down the page, you can see all of this. But what's the key feature about this is you can edit this. So you can see here, I've clicked on this and it's activated and it's telling me this is a H1. Great. Now, let's say I want to update this H1. I want to change this from software to platform. That shows me exactly what it looks like. I can make these edits in real time, right? I can revert this. Let's say I want to change it. Let's revert changes, revert to original, puts it back. Let's say I do want to push this live. Oops. Cool. I can make changes to the copy. So I can put that on the ends there. I can make change to this. This is a link. Where do I want this link to go? I can change the destination of where this link goes. I can, going down, let's have a look. I can change this. This is a H2. Let's say I want to change it to a H1. I can change it to H1, H3, H4. I can even change it to a paragraph. I've got videos. Images. I can click on the image and I can add alt text. I mean, that's a pain. And it sounds like such a simple thing, but
yeah, there's so many sites, even kind of big, well-known CMSs like WordPress, where it really depends on the theme and how the theme's been built as to whether image alts that you edit in the back end of WordPress actually show on the front end. And there's been so many times where it just doesn't.
Yeah.
And trying to work out why that is really tricky. But now obviously you can do it directly through this.
Exactly. So let's say I put here Euro Search Award, right? I can add that as the alt text for this one here. Click plus. And I can make edits to all of this content on the website. All of these, I can make changes to them. So we saw before, right? One of the actions was the missing meta description. So normally what you'd have to do, go to your CMS, go to that page, try and figure out where the meta description is, write the meta description, press publish, go back to hike, press complete action. Now all you need to do is go SEO settings, go to meta description, go, okay, I've got to write my meta description. Oh, I can choose this. Choose from 3 SEO friendly options. What this is going to do is we're going to generate 3 options of meta descriptions for you. They're not going to be generic SEO meta descriptions. They're going to be based on the keywords that you've got assigned to this page. So you know one of the keywords before was DIY SEO software. So it's actually written a meta description for me, optimized for the keyword I want this page to rank for. So go, hike offers easy to use DIY software, designed to help you improve your website's visibility and start ranking. That's a really nice meta description. If I press select, it's now put it in there for me. Right, now if I go down, press save. Great, SEO settings changed successfully. Now let's see what else we can do. Now within this, one of the also the more difficult things around SEO is getting your keywords included within the main elements, but also within the copy, right? Now you're writing page copy, but you want to get your keywords included. If you click on this, you'll see these 2 options appear. First one here is rephrase and optimize. So this AI-driven feature, will rewrite your existing content, adding in your keywords and keeping it the same length, but you can choose expand and optimize. So this will take what copy you've got already, add in your keywords and expand it. Let's do the rephrase and optimize. So what it's doing now is getting that copy, the AI is going through it, it's rewriting it and making sure it's optimized for our keywords. And if you remember, our 2 keywords were DIY SEO software and DIY SEO. We've now got DIY SEO software just there, and we've got DIY SEO there. So it makes that process. Now, we do recommend going through, tweaking it, making it have your tone of voice, just like with all AI content generation. But as a starting point, it's a great way to kind of get started there with that.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. Let me just admit these more people. Cool. So we can make these changes, right? And we can do this, and we can do it on multiple pages. But let's actually see what it does to the website. So we've updated the meta description, we've updated the H1, we've added this copy, and we've added an image on. Yeah. So let's publish and see what happens. So once you're ready to do it, press continue. What this is doing now is it's publishing the changes to your website. Takes a couple of secs, and then we'll click view website. Okay, so immediately we can see the H1's change. It doesn't say a software anymore. It says a platform. And you can see this copy's got changed as well. Hike is your go-to DIY SEO software. So that's the exact copy that we used. If we have a look at the meta description, just go into here, Control F, description, meta description. Hike offers easy to use DIY SEO software. So it's added in the meta description that we added. And then finally, the other change that we made was here, right? So if we inspect this, have a look for the alt. There we go. The alt, that's Euro Search Award. So it's added the alt to that as well. So everything that we've done via the optimizer and we've published, you can see it's all gone live on the website. And if we go back to Hike and we now look at our actions. Okay, add missing alt.
That's because there's more than one image on the page that has a missing alt. You've only
Good.
updated.
I've only updated one. Okay, great. But it has moved over the meta description one because there's only one meta description. We updated
Correct,
that.
yeah.
So your actions are updated in real time as you complete them on there. So you don't actually have to go back to the actions part of the platform, right? You could just do it all through here.
Exactly. And obviously what you can see on the page now as well, when you come back to it, is the purple outline around the items that you have changed. So obviously when you come back at a later date, you can see what stuff you have changed via the optimizer. So you know where you've potentially edited stuff before.
Yeah, and it's really simple. So let's say you wanted to change it. You press this and you can revert it to original. So you could do it on the actual elements that you've updated. So if we go down, we can see it on that. Or if you wanted to revert all of them to original and just go back to how it was, you click revert to original there, and it does all of them. So this is in essence the feature itself. You know, this is what we think is going to significantly decrease the time it takes for you to do SEO and significantly decrease the level of expertise as well, because some CMSs are a pain. If you're an agency and you've got a lead come through from someone that's Squarespace, you've never worked on a Squarespace website, you find it quite tricky, Use the Onsite Optimizer. It means you can do all your SEO changes via that. I think probably what's the key thing to go through is it's just SEO, right?
Yes.
Do you want to go through that?
Yeah, we were very conscious that we didn't want to build a CMS system that would allow you to basically make multiple CMS changes to your website. So bold, italicized text is not something that we wanted to do, because from an SEO point of view, it doesn't impact SEO performance. So we were very focused on the stuff that you can update via the optimizer is really the stuff that's going to impact your SEO performance. Yeah. Obviously, we don't cover every single element at the minute, but we are working hard on adding additional stuff into here and expanding out the elements that can be updated. But 90% of the stuff that you kind of need to update from your SEO performance, you can update via the optimizer.
Yeah. So if we go back to, obviously you can change everything on the front end, you know, images, headings, copy, etc. Or when I say images, we're talking about the SEO elements, so the image alts,
yes,
or the image link locations. But you're not able to like switch out the images, for example, because that's not part of SEO, and that's what you want to be using your CMS for. So other things that you can do, if we go back to the SEO settings, so your page, so your metadata, your page title, your meta descriptions, you can update canonical URLs. That can be a pain, you know, if like saying you need to update a canonical URL or something, trying to find that in a lot of CMSs is.
And some of them automatically generate them,
yes,
and not very well optimized in the way that they automatically generate. So yeah, this really helps with that.
Yeah, meta robots tags as well, so you can adjust whatever they've done, or you can add to that. And JSON LD, so for adding in schema, obviously a much simpler way of adding in schema than the hard coding on the page is to use JSON LD. So you can implement that via this. This is a bit more of a technical SEO thing. So those people that hear that know about schema and implementing it, the ability to do this makes life a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Cool. Okay. So with that, what was on to next? Oh, okay. So I think the next thing I wanted to show, right? So you might be going, hey, Andy, hey, Kieran, this all looks great. You can push all these changes live, you know, and it's showing on the website. But how does it actually work, right? How are you able to make these changes on the website without actually going through, logging into WordPress and going to the back end? So Kieran, do you want to, in not too technical a language, good luck, explain how this works?
In simple words, we use JavaScript. So without going technical, we basically work as if we're a layer above your actual website. So your website still lives as it did in the background. The changes, or the way that you built the site, the way you structured the website with your CMS, like original page titles, meta descriptions, all of them sit in the background. We effectively are a layer that sits on top of that, that when you load your page, we swap out what was done via your CMS with the changes that you've done via Hike. So your page title was there before. When the page is loaded, we check to make sure to see if you've made any changes to that page title via our optimizer. If you have, we'll swap out the page title that was there before with the new one. This is all, as I mentioned before, obviously we kind of initially created this back in 2018, and obviously we've needed to wait for Google to catch up.
That was the thing, it was Google.
Reliability.
We're ahead of Google.
Yeah. No one believes us, but yeah,
European search boards did.
Well, they did. Yeah. We needed to wait for Google to catch up in their reliability on crawling and indexing JavaScript. Back in 2018, they did do it, but it was very
intermittent.
And we weren't confident that the results that we were given via the tool back then were good enough for us to kind of say, yes, use this as your solution. So yeah, now that Google has caught up, Google's a lot better at indexing JavaScript. We've implemented it now, and we've had a big focus as well on speed and reliability with it. So it won't slow down your website by loading in. For the most part, when you load the page, you won't really see the change in text, because we've spent a lot of time optimizing that to make sure that there isn't like what they class as a flicker, where you see the old text and the new text. So we've spent a lot of time doing that.
Yeah. And so then, just to carry on in terms of what Kieran was saying there, we had to wait for Google to essentially, every time it crawls a website, it needed to get to the point where it rendered it in JavaScript, which 6 years ago it was doing like once every month. So once every few crawls. It does it every time now. So much so that Google's guidelines recommend you making changes via JavaScript. So it's part of their guidelines. But I want to show you in real life as well, just how you can check this yourself. So the best way to do it is to go to Search Console. Right. Now, if you've got Search Console, what you can do is you can do this inspect thing, right? Where you put in your URL and it will show you the HTML it's got for your website at the minute. So if we go here, this is the HTML it has in Google's index for the Hike SEO homepage. Now, if I, is this going to do F description? Started twice. There we go. You can see the meta description is empty. Now that's why Hike flagged it, right? Because the meta description was empty. So you can see at the moment, Google knows we've got no meta description. Now, if I test this live URL, it's now going to go and crawl the website. And it's going to bring back over here in the HTML, the changes that, that it's seen. Now, this does take a few minutes. So we do kind of, do you want to sing a little song? No one wants to sing a little song. So this is going to take a few minutes, unfortunately, because if anyone's ever used Google Search Console and it's an inspect URL tool, they're going away, they're crawling the website, they're gathering the HTML, and they're coming back and they're going to display it here. So while we're waiting for that, we can start talking about some of the bits we touched on before, which is how this is going to start impacting people. So we're planning to launch. Oh, okay. There we go. Well, hold that thought, Andy. View tested page. Okay, right. Let's make sure this description. Okay, so we can now see what Google's picking up for the meta description. Description: Hike offers easy-to-use DIY SEO software designed to help you improve your website's visibility. So you can see there, Google, not only can we see these changes, not only the browser rendering these changes, but Google is now seeing these changes, which means these changes are now going to impact your SEO. This is what Google's going to do. If we go to like H1, H1, there you go. The H1, a platform that puts SEO in easy mode. So that's there. So every change that the Onsite Optimizer has done is being picked up by Google, which means it's all SEO friendly. And like we say, it is Google actually recommend to make changes via your CMS, but also doing them via JavaScript. So yeah, we had to wait for Google to get to this point to be able to release this within Hike, but we're very excited it has. Yeah, 100%. Cool. Okie doke. So let's just go back to here. So let's think, we've been through all the features. Yeah. Okay. Publish, revert. We've been through how it all works. So yeah, let's start talking about how you guys get access to this. So we're planning to launch this early next week. Date to be confirmed, as early as possible, but early next week. So you haven't got long to wait at all. There's going to be no increase in your subscription of what you're paying anymore to have access to this feature. It's an optional feature, right? Like you don't have to use this. You can still go to your website and make changes the way you used to. And for a lot of people, that's going to be what they're used to and they'll want to keep doing that. So that's absolutely fine. This is an optional thing. If you want to use it, use it. If you don't, that's absolutely fine. So yeah, no increase in subscription. You'll have access to it straight away once it launches and you can start using it. And we want everyone to start using it, Like we've gone through lots of rounds of feedback. We've done internal testing, we've done initial user testing, we've done some initial customer testing. The feedback's been fantastic. We've ironed out as much as we can from that point of view. So it's ready to go. So whether you're an agency or a small business yourself, you'll have the ability to start using this from next week. So really, really exciting. And hopefully you guys appreciate it and you see the value in it.
Also, just to very quickly touch, because I did see a chat flash up before we kind of closed it, was around CMSs that this works with. It works with any CMS. There's no limitations on the CMS that it works with. So whether it's Wix, WordPress, Squarespace, Shopify, custom-built CMS, as long as you can add that snippet to the head section of your website, it will work with any CMS out there.
Yeah, exactly that. So yeah, if you're a small business, you can use it. If you're an agency, you can use it on each one of the websites you've got in your account. So for each website that you have within Hike, when you activate that website in Hike, you'll have the ability to use the Onsite Optimizer on that agency, on that client as well, that client's website. So that's that. So should we talk now about what happens? Okay, yeah. So let's talk about if you wanted to remove this. Yeah. So one of the things is obviously it's just as easy as it is to add, it's very easy to remove. So you have complete control and flexibility. So if you ever just didn't want to use this for whatever reason, or the website has been managed by someone else, you just remove the script. So if you remove the script, it removes all of these changes, because what lies underneath on your CMS, that's what we're making changes to. We're not deleting anything. We're not removing anything. We're just replacing what's there. So if you remove the on-site script, it just reverts back to how it was. It makes no changes at all to your CMS. So that's a good point, actually. What if someone makes a change? They're using the Onsite Optimizer and they make a change via their CMS. So let's say I change that H1 in WordPress.
So what that will do is it will mean that your website's change that you've made via the CMS will override the change that's happened via the optimizer. Without, again, going technical, we look for the text that's in the current H1 heading. And if it matches what we expect it to be or what it was before, we'll swap it with what we want it to be now. So that before was a software that puts SEO on easy mode. We look for a software that puts SEO on easy mode. And if we find that, we swap it with a platform that puts SEO on easy mode.
Yep.
If you go in and change that to a system that puts SEO on easy mode via your CMS, when we're looking for a software that puts SEO on easy mode, we can't find it, which means we don't swap out a system, because we don't know that you haven't made that change because you wanted to make that change. And to err on the side of caution, we want to make sure that we're only changing the stuff that you want us to change.
Yeah.
All you'd have to do is just load the optimizer back up and re-implement the change that you want if you ever wanted to override it via the optimizer.
Yeah.
So it's not lost forever. You can just pop back in, make the change again, nice and quick, and hit publish, and then you're all good.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a really important point, because it's not going to get to that state where you're making changes in your CMS and that's not working because something's just overwriting it.
Yes.
That will never happen.
No.
That'll never happen. And, if you just didn't want this to work, you remove the script and that's it. It will just go back to exactly what's within your CMS. So super simple, super quick. We're not deleting anything. We're not changing anything. We're just overwriting what's already there to help you implement SEO changes even quicker. So if you didn't want to be a Hike user anymore, so let's say you wanted to cancel your Hike account, there's two options for you. Now, it would be because you didn't want to use this tool. So if that's the case, just remove the script from your website. If you did leave the script on your website, even if you were no longer a Hike customer, it wouldn't do anything. It just wouldn't make any changes anymore, right?
You wouldn't get any errors pop up.
No.
It wouldn't stop your website from working, any of that. It just wouldn't make any changes.
Yeah. We do recommend probably just removing the script. It's just good housekeeping, right?
Yeah.
But it wouldn't do anything. So yeah, so that would be fine sitting there. But we are going to offer an option where if you wanted to cancel Hike, but you wanted to keep the Onsite Optimizer, then you can just pause your account. So we have this thing called pause, which is
Also called downgrade now within the platform.
Okay, downgrade or pause. Where at the moment, what that does is it reduces the price. I think it's £5, £5 or $6.50.
Yes.
Yep, per month. So it significantly reduces it, where you get access to your keyword rankings. And what we're also going to include into that moving forwards is the Onsite Optimizer as well. It won't have the actions panel, and it won't have the AI features, but you'll still get all the other bits. You can still make changes on the fly. You can see all the changes you've made and keep that for as long as the account's paused. If you didn't want to pause and you just wanted to cancel, then one thing we are giving you as well, when you cancel, if you did use the Onsite Optimizer and you made any changes via the Onsite Optimizer, you will get the ability to download a CSV, a spreadsheet with all the changes that you've made. So if you've made a bunch of changes, be like, I don't want to use the Onsite Optimizer anymore, but I want to know what changes I made. When you go to cancel, you'll have a button to click to download a CSV, and it will just list all the changes.
Yeah.
What would that just be, like a simple spreadsheet?
Simple spreadsheet, each page, the element that you've changed, what the old text was, what the new text was. Nice and easy for you to just be able to go back through and re-implement it manually if you wanted to.
Yeah, or send a developer to re-implement it, whichever way you want to do it. It's just a really simple spreadsheet. If you're an agency, so let's say you have an agency and you've added websites into your account and you've removed those websites. So as long as you've still got an active account, so you've not deleted your whole Hike account, then we will still host the changes for any websites that you've used the Onsite Optimizer for, even if you no longer got that website within your Hike account. People are still joining. Amazing. So then we'll still host those changes. So if you've added a website in, so let's say Hike SEO, we're a client, you've made those changes, and then you've removed Hike, you want to remove Hike out of your account for whatever reason, then we will still host those changes, which means if you still wanted to have those changes, just leave the Onsite Optimizer script installed on the website and it will still do it. Then the only time that we would remove it is if you fully cancel your account. So let's say then at some point you decide you just don't want to use Hike anymore. That's absolutely fine. Just like with a small business uses Hike, just those changes won't be live anymore. The script will still be there, won't impact your site at all. But at that point, then the changes won't be made.
Yeah, I think that covers it all.
It covers it all.
Yeah.
I guess, is there anything else on here? No, I think that's it. There's been, if we have a look at the chat down the bottom, it's got 99 plus.
Yes.
It couldn't even get into the third number. So Georgia, do you want to hand pick some questions for us?
Yes.
Because I bet there's loads, and we've got to get home. We've got children. We've got to get home to them. We can't stay here all night.
I'm happy to stay.
Kieran's happy to stay. It's all right, guys. Yeah. Okay.
Well, actually, quite a few questions came up around how this works with caching and caching tools in particular. Will it have any effect on those tools and vice versa?
So we actually implement caching ourselves through the way that the script is loaded. And
Sorry, just because Toomey said that Georgia is on mute and she can't hear Georgia. Oh yeah, Georgia, you might want to come over here for this. So Georgia said there's been a few questions around caching. So how does the Onsite Optimizer work in terms of caching for your website? Maybe any plugins or anything that you're using?
yeah, so we use caching ourselves within the way that the script itself loads on the website. When we clear the when someone makes a change to the script by the optimizer, we clear the cache for that file. So the file itself is cached up until you make a change. Your website's caching shouldn't affect that because the file itself has changed, and you have like a value set against the file as to how long it should be cached for, and that's only ever set to an hour. So yeah, we clear the cache on each of the files individually. So yeah, it shouldn't be affected by website caching.
Okay. Cool.
Great.
Good question.
What about page speed?
Page speed.
Load speed.
In terms of how it affects it, or what you can affect with it.
Probably how it impacts it. Talk through how it
Yeah,
impacts
so
it, yeah.
impact wise, for the most part, it's, I think when we did our testing, we could load all of the changes onto a page within kind of 30 or 40 milliseconds. It's tiny in terms of the impact on the actual page speed itself. So you shouldn't notice any impact whatsoever in terms of a decrease in your page speed. You should be able to install the script and not really notice any difference. And as I mentioned before as well, with regards to the text being swapped out, that shouldn't be noticeable either. So yeah, no negatives. Obviously, being an SEO tool, we have focused on page speed to make sure that we don't impact it negatively.
Yeah.
We've managed to achieve that with some quite good work on the dev team.
Quite good work.
Quite good work on the dev team. Yeah.
Understatement. Very English, very British.
Just to confirm, can everybody hear me now?
Can we have a yes?
Yes.
Yes.
What?
Okay.
Perfect. So another question actually was, with the AI, is this going to be ChatGPT 3 or 4?
It's ChatGPT 4. Everything through the platform, including this, all the other features that we have AI based are all ChatGPT 4. And will no doubt be 5 when that gets released. We're quite hot on keeping stuff up to date just because it delivers better results.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure 5 will be here soon.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Scary.
Fab. And then one interesting question actually. So if the platform knows what is better to improve SEO and of course has access to do so, plus AI, why doesn't it just do it automatically?
Do
you want to tackle that one?
Never say never, I think is the thing, right? The thing is, we still want you guys to be in control over the changes. We still want you guys to be in control over the changes that get made. We don't want you to click a single button and we implement loads of changes to your website without you seeing them, because AI is great, but AI sometimes does get it wrong.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So AI guys getting you there.
Yeah. So AI do sometimes get it wrong. So we always want you to have some sort of control. And obviously, as Andy mentioned anyway there, with regards to the text, when you're using our tool to rephrase it or expand it, you probably want to have a read through and just tweak it if you need to, because we want to make sure that the quality is right. But we can definitely, we have plans, obviously, without going into too much detail, we have plans to kind of improve the automation of some of the bits that we do, and improve the way that you can use that and speed it up even further.
Yeah, I think, there's a decision that we had to make. There's a decision whether do we go down the automation route now, right? Like, can we automate some things like image alts, for example? Could we create an automation tool that just goes through all your empty image alts and fills them up? Or do we have something that actually allows you to enact your SEO strategy? You know, implementing those keywords, making copy changes, something that isn't quite so automated, but you have the ability to make those changes quicker and easier using the AI, using this UI, right, to be able to do this, as opposed to clicking a button. And because you can't click a button in a minute and update everything that would need to be done to do full SEO, you know, to replicate exactly what a really experienced SEO manager would do on your website. So we went down the decision for now of creating this type of interface where it makes it easier to implement your SEO strategy rather than fixing, let's say, basic technical things at the moment. Over time, we'll develop the product for sure. And with your guys' feedback as well, I think that's really important. What bits do you find useful? What bits would you find even more useful? Which, you know, we're starting to get some good ideas now, but I think that's how it'll evolve.
Yeah, and one thing obviously you touched on very briefly when you ran through the demo is that you see the changes on your website when you make them. So adding another bit of text, does that make something drop down onto another line that actually doesn't look great? If you automated that process, you wouldn't see it, and you probably come back to your website and think, oh, I don't actually recognize my website now.
Yeah,
so having that control, and that's why implementing it this way as well works really nicely, because you can see how it actually will look.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. Any changes you make here, this is how the CSS will look. So when you publish it, it will look exactly like this. You won't do it and then publish it and go, oh, it's pushed the CSS out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Georgia, I still think some people are struggling with the...
Yep. Yeah.
You need a loud voice like me and Kieran.
Thank you. So one more question that was actually quite popular is, how does it affect Elementor? Which is obviously from...
Yeah, it's a WordPress plugin, right?
Mm.
It effectively still sits over the top of it. So you obviously would build out the website and the structure of the page, and make sure that everything is okay how you want it to look using Elementor. And then on height, you could implement SEO over the top of that. So Elementor is just a way of building out pages on your website, whereas it wouldn't impact how the optimizer works, because the optimizer just sits on top of that.
Yeah. So whatever theme you use, whatever CMS, whatever website builder you use, Hike doesn't really know or care. Just like Google doesn't really know or care, right? Google just cares about what's outputted on the browser. All Google cares about is what's here. What does the H1 say? What does this content say? How long does it take to load? What the internal links doing? Are any 404s? That's all Google cares about. It doesn't really care what CMS you're using, whether you're using a theme or a Divi builder, whatever it is. It just cares about the output, because that's what it crawls. And if we go back to here, this is what it cares about. This, you know, this rendered HTML. That's what it cares about. And that's what it judges your optimization and your SEO rankings on. And Hike doesn't really care what you use either, because Hike is just changing that front end. It's just changing the rendered HTML that Google sees.
Yeah.
And it works with all of them. So, you know, as long as you can install the script, just like installing a Google Analytics script, which you can do on anything, you can install scripts. As long as you get the script on your website and you can make these changes, it doesn't matter what it is. All we care about is what's outputted by your CMS, and then we can then replace and optimize those bits.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense. Thanks, guys. So just going through, another one that I had was, so people don't need Yoast or Rank Math anymore. Is that correct?
They don't need Yoast or Rank Math anymore. Yeah, I mean, so Yoast and Rank Math have got a lot of features, but one of their key feature, or why people use it, is an implementation tool, right? You know, and this is why we recommend people use WordPress to use Yoast, because if you need to update a page title via WordPress, if you install Yoast, it makes it super simple. Just go to the field and update a page title. Now, obviously, with the Onsite Optimizer, we now are an implementation tool as well. So you can now implement your page title, your meta descriptions, and all of these things super simple using the Onsite Optimizer. So yes, if you are using Yoast or Rank Math as the implementation tool for your SEO changes, then the Onsite Optimizer does that. You know, that it's essentially what it is. It's an implementation tool via what we think is a really nice UI, bringing in the Hike data and making it super simple and clean and friendly. If you're using Yoast or Rank Math for their other features, and they have lots of other features, you know, so you're using over and above its implementation, then still use those tools. You know, they're great tools. But if you're thinking about the full implementation, then yeah, we do the same thing then now.
One question, which is quite interesting one, might be one for you, Kieran, is somebody asked, what if hike went down? How would that affect the changes?
Yeah, so hopefully that doesn't happen. We've got a lot of redundancies in place where even if the kind of core platform goes down, the files are hosted with AWS and cached as well. So you shouldn't really see that happen because we have multiple redundancies in place. If on the off chance multiple things went down, all that would happen would be that the changes didn't load on the website for the time at which it was down. Like I say, shouldn't happen. We've got a lot of redundancies in place. Even if that did happen, the way it would impact you would only be if Google at that time were crawling your website. And it would only impact you for the time at which Google was crawling your website. If we then got it kind of back up and running, you could request a recrawl by Google. It'd see all your changes and hopefully not really impact you too much at all, really.
So it'd be the equivalent as if they removed the script, right?
Yes.
Because it would just then show what's within the CMS.
Correct. Yeah. You won't take your website down.
Right,
We've made
delete
sure
anything.
that, yeah, if the script doesn't load, your website doesn't go down. There's nothing in there that will stop your website from crashing, not loading, not showing. There's nothing in there at all that will do that.
Yeah.
Right, thank you. I guess a fair few people have questions on, where is it? Dun, 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 dun.
There's questions here. I've spotted a couple. There's ones from there's ones from Rob Dietz around the agency. So the agencies. Maybe we could go through that again.
Yeah.
So yeah, with if you're an agency, so obviously you can use this across all your clients. If you're white labeled, it's white labeled as well, right? There's no mentions of hike within this. So if you can white label, if you're a white label customer, you have to activate it on the user level, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So when you're adding one of your users into the platform, one of your customers, when you go through the permissions, they will be the Onsite Optimizer. You just need to select that as view. By default, it will be off.
Yeah. So by default for all agency users, it will be on for the admin. Oh, actually, no, not just agency users, all users. It will be on for the admins of the account. And then you can switch it on for your users. So the users are not going to see it before you're ready for them to see it.
Yeah.
And obviously you touched on white label as well. Obviously the only thing within here at the minute, apart from to be on the Hike website, is the Hike logo in the top left. That will be replaced by your logo that you set within your white label.
Yeah. So if you white label Hike in the minute, then you can offer it to your customers, right, under your own branding, just like you can with every other features with Hike. But yeah, so going in and how it works for agencies. So if an agency, while your account's active, then the Onsite Optimizer changes that you've ever made across any clients that have been in your account, whether they're in your account now or not, will be hosted and will still be live. We will only remove them if you fully delete your Hike account. So if you fully cancel your Hike account and you don't want any part of Hike anymore, then that's at the point at which the Onsite Optimizer changes. The Onsite Optimizer just won't make any changes to the website. A bit like if you're a small business and you use Hike and you fully cancel, again, you will have, just like a small business, you will have the ability to download a CSV with all of the changes. So you could then go and implement those changes manually or pass them on to the client to implement manually. But yeah, as long as you've got an active agency account, we'll still host those changes. It's only if you decide to fully delete your Hike account.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Just another one which we're having quite a few questions around as well is when we make changes for the Onsite Optimizer, it doesn't show in the back end of the website.
Yes.
So
yeah, that's correct. Yeah. So the changes that you make, you'll only ever be able to see them looking at the front end of your website. The back end of the website, if you log into your WordPress CMS, you'll still see what it was originally. Realistically, in an ideal world, if you need to do SEO, you come onto here and do all your SEO. You wouldn't really use your CMS. You may use it for maybe creating new pages, because obviously we can only update stuff that already exists on the website.
Yeah.
But you can't. We kind of advise against going into your CMS and making changes to CMS and making changes via the optimizer, just because you could override stuff and not realize.
Yeah, if you do override it though. So let's say, for example, now I was speaking to an agency earlier, and he was saying, okay, so he has a client, or even just that someone within the team can go and make an update to a page title, a page, and they overwrite the SEO change that he's made. So he's used Hike, he's used the Onsite Optimizer to optimize a H1. Someone in the team's gone in and overrode that H1 via the CMS. Now, do you know how he will know instantly? Because there'll be a new action that's generated. So there'll be a new action that's generated to say you need to optimize this H1. So he'll then go in and go, wait a minute, it's telling me to optimize the H1s. Why is that? Oh, it's because of CMS. Someone's changed it within the CMS. At which point you could either override the CMS again by doing it within Hike and completing it, or you can change it in the CMS. But either way, you'll be alerted because that action will regenerate, telling you to do whatever it was that you changed originally, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's kind of a good way actually in keeping track of if someone does change your SEO stuff, you'll know because of new action. I suppose a bit like at the minute with the actions engine as well.
And I think it did see someone ask about actions and whether you need to complete them off. Yeah, Andy did cover it, but yeah, any changes you make on here will automatically complete the action within your actions. You don't have to go back to the actions and click complete for them to complete off.
Yeah.
Making the change on here and publishing the change, the actions will complete only when the changes are published, because at that point they're actually on your website. So yeah, the actions will automatically complete off. You don't have to click complete.
Yeah. Okay, I think we've done quite a few there.
One more.
Go on in.
Yeah.
So somebody asked, how does this handle content that is hidden or visible on mobile versus desktop?
So
It's a great question.
you can, obviously this mimics what your website looks like. So you can resize this.
The best thing to do if you're going to do this, I suppose you can resize it.
Yeah,
yes.
you can resize it and then make changes based on if content changes. This is only really showing you your website itself.
Could you inspect and view it as a mobile?
I don't know. I don't know.
We should try it live.
Let's try it.
Okay,
live.
here we go. Let's refresh. Try refresh will it work?
Refresh it, fine. Yeah. I don't know if it was. Yeah, so your changes are loaded in there. I don't know if that's easy to use, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But your changes are in. Okay.
So yeah, I wouldn't inspect as a view as a mobile. I would resize the screen.
Resize the screen. Yeah.
But yeah, you should be able to resize. That would then show the mobile versions of the page itself.
So it would then show any
The stuff
content.
that's hidden, and then you can change it. Because all we're looking for is the H1 or the H2 or where it's located on the page and the text that's within it. And then from that, we're swapping it out. So realistically, the mobile ones, even if they're hidden to you as a user when you're on a desktop, they still live within the code. They still live within a certain part of the code, and you can make changes there.
Just need to make it visible.
Yeah. One thing just to touch on, because I've seen a couple of people mention around loading speed of the page. So it will impact it in terms of it will add a couple of milliseconds onto the load time of the page. I'm not saying it won't do any, but in terms of the way that it works technically, it's quite a technical question that's been asked, but JavaScript hosted on a CDN, which, as most pieces of JavaScript, most images now are hosted on CDNs, which are content delivery networks. They're really optimized for speed of delivery of files, images, scripts, all that sort of stuff. We don't query the database. Without going too technical, when you make changes, we rebuild the JavaScript snippet that lives on your website in the background. So you don't have to query databases when you load the page. So it will impact in terms of milliseconds onto the load of the page, but it won't impact you negatively. There's not enough in there for it to impact more negatively than adding analytics to your website. So just to kind of touch on that. Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. So no more than an analytics script would.
Yeah, any tracking scripts that you put on your site and stuff, they load a bit of JavaScript. The JavaScript files are minified, they're tiny. Like I say, they're built in the background, they're cached as well. So yeah, we've really done as much as we can to optimize the page loading speed, because what we don't want you to do, install the optimizer, and then you get a load of flags to say that you need to improve the speed. Or we create a load of new actions around.
Yeah, we're creating actions.
It's not what we want to do.
Cool. All right. Well, look, we're done.
Yes.
And yeah. So I think thank you so much, everyone that's joined.
And for the questions.
And for the questions and for the comments. It's been brilliant. We'll be posting. Make sure you look out in your emails. We'll be dropping emails over the next few days to let you know kind of when it's going to launch next week. Agencies, we're going to drop a really detailed email this week as well with just, all the answers that me and Kieran went through to your types of questions. We're going to have loads of content around that. So you'll be prepared for that, including white label and stuff. And yeah, we're really, really excited to launch this. Let's see if we can win another award.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we shall see. Just to touch on, someone asked if recordings will be sent out. They will do. We'll send out a recording from
Yes.
of this to everyone. So
Yeah, sent
everyone
out
can have it.
tomorrow.
Yeah, and yeah, love to hear your feedback as well when you are using it. See how you get on, any new features that you'd like.
Yeah, yeah,
It's,
for
it's
sure.
great. It's the only way that we can continue to evolve the product.
Yeah,
Mhm.
brilliant.
Awesome.
Thanks, everyone. Really appreciate it. Have a great evening or rest of your day, and we'll catch up very soon.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.